Here's Tucker Carlson on his new show.
I like wood.
Which is amazing.
I like wood.
You know what I mean?
Deeper and longer.
But we'll see if, Maxwell, thank you. We'll see if they have some of the similar problems or if he's just kind of, I don't know who his guest is. Tucker Carlson sits down. Oh, former surgeon, Human Norcasm, to discuss the new push for vaccine passports, which Dr. Norcasm should be focused on immunity rather than vaccinations. Meaning if you've had it, you could say you had it. Mm-hmm.
So the idea of vaccine passports, which I think we're unlikely to see become a feature of federal law or federal regulation, but...
Yeah, so basically, this is much ado about nothing. Okay, next clip. Yeah, so I'm good. We're good. Okay, cool. Thanks, dumbass. Tucker, right on the top of his own segment, in the middle of bad sound. Is someone vacuuming during your show? What the hell? I mean, I know it's the Fox Nation website version of the show, and it's a way of justifying giving you a raise without giving you a raise, which is one of the ways they do it in the news business. They give you a sideshow that requires almost no prep and just an interview thing, and they pay you as if it's a major upgrade, and you basically do it, on your days off or in between shows, or you stick around for an hour after the program, take off your tie and interview some rando they bring in, right? And that way, the other people in the network can ask for more money for their shows because you didn't get more money. The more money went to, it's a trick. It happens all the time. It's in a lot of shows. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, in news, that's full of this stuff. That's why they make them have podcasts and shit like that. Like, they've actually, pegged the needle on how much money they can outlay without getting into trouble with the shareholders. So they give them a perfunctory this much amount of work to do, and then they pay them bajillions for it. So, anyways, obviously he's on his new set, which is...
I like wood.
And he says the part which makes this a non-issue right away, which is that it's not going to be a regulation. It's meant to help you travel.
Much more likely to see become effective when big private sector companies enforce them. You can't fly in airplanes, for example. Yeah. Maybe you can't stay in hotels. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? Like if other countries do it and we have to interact with other countries and they have rules about stuff. It's like, I don't know, if you go to some countries in Africa and they require you to not bring tuberculosis or malaria.
That's coercive, obviously.
No, you're thinking about Matt Getz and the dude the football guy from Florida. It's coaxing. Is it coercive? I mean, you don't gotta go. That's the great thing about freedom. You don't have to go.
And as for the vaccine as you are, once again, you've taken it yourself. Does a vaccine passport kind of violate the principle of patient autonomy?
No. No. Because you don't have to have a disease to have a vaccine. And by autonomy, I guess he means privacy in this. I mean, this is fucking dumb. But you want patient privacy. If somebody has a genetic disorder, they have cancer, they have some other issue that's really not going to affect their job, but somebody might get skeeved out or weird about it, and not hire them. So we have patient confidentiality around that. But if you've had a vaccine, that's a verifiable act that you use to get your kids in school. There's no patient autonomy. Kids need to get their shots so they go to school. There's no there's no mystery polio vaccine. As a matter of fact, it helps you.
Look, I think mandating vaccination does. Let's take some time about this vaccine passport.
Okay, so mandating taking a vaccine, like the government shows up and makes you put a shot in your arm, which is not being suggested anywhere, is not the law. And if you don't want to travel to a country where you've got to get a malaria shot or some shit like that, you don't gotta go. You have the freedom to stay the fuck home.
I think it's going to be a disaster.
Well, of course you do. I mean, that's why you're on Tucker's show. He would have invited you on if you were like, I don't know, it could be sensible. I mean, there's workarounds.
Absolute disaster. Look,
an absolute disaster. Understand this. And Like literally, not only does it not work, you try to bring up the app on your phone while you're standing in customs. There's a huge line behind you. You can't get in. You're sweating. You're carrying your bag. You're like baby's crying, and you're trying to show them the thing. And every time you turn it, because how the app is, the heat of your thumb turns it off, and you keep showing them a black screen, and you can't or whatever. And then by the time you actually get it to come up, it's already expired, and you're like, fire! You have to go in that line, get another shot, and then once you do have it, like as soon as some countries are going to see it and not let you in because you've had the vaccine. So all the good countries, that would be an absolute disaster. Right? That sounds like an absolute disaster. This just sounds like an inconvenience for some travelers.
We can't even get our act together to get people to register to vote properly.
I'm sorry. We can't get our act together to get people to vote properly? You're not going to find a friend in this asshole that wants people to get registered to vote.
You could.
I don't. And
Let me ask you.
Why is that a good point? Why? I mean, we're literally going to mass vaccination sites. You get a card. You can show it. It's registered. They have a record. You have a record. It matches the record.
Question. Who do you think's going to get excluded from this vaccine passport? It's not going to be the nice people in Naples, Florida, or Newtown, PA.
No.
It's going to be the good folks who live in North Philly and West Philly.
It's totally true.
It's going to be people in Washington, D.C. and in the Deep South and in
You mean black people? So you would argue that government intervention should be, they should finance the availability of it so that it makes it more available. And are you really making the case that getting a passport, which is, by the way, going to be on a phone or an app, or there'll be a variation where you can carry a physical version of it with you if you want, or it'll be attached to your driver's license, so that if you want to go someplace and you show your driver's license, you could swipe it and go, yeah, they've been vaccinated, you can go in. Like that kind of stuff where, I mean, it's 2021 for fuck's sake.
and in Western PA who...
And by the way, Tucker Carlson is not concerned that he won't be able to sit next to a black person at a football game.
don't have access, don't have the health literacy that it requires, right? It's going to...
The health literacy, asshole? The health literacy? See this card? Yeah, that shows you got the vaccine. Okay. You're going to need that to go in some places. Some businesses are going to need them. Okay. So you keep that with you. There's also, if you want, there's a little QR code. You can point your phone. We'll show you how to do it right here. And it will link you up so that you can download it anywhere you go, And then, of course, we're trying to pass a law where the record goes to your vaccination records go to your driver's license, so it makes it really easy, but these Republicans are running interference for it.
It's gonna be a disaster for
Wait, yeah, I know. You said it was a disaster for an unmitigated disaster.
civil rights, for equity.
No,
It's
you're
going to be a
totally right.
disaster.
Yeah, you're totally right, even though that was an edit. I gotta move this over because we're missing a lot of the set.
I like wood. Deeper and longer.
Okay.
But the other point I wanted to make about this
Yeah, make the other point.
vaccine passport, I think we should not call it a vaccine passport. This should be if there is any such thing ever.
Yeah, they shouldn't call it a vaccine passport, which would make people readily aware what it is. You might need it to get in someplace. You don't need a passport in the country most of the time. You need a passport to go overseas and do stuff. Occasionally you need a photo ID or some sort of identification.
Ever. It should be an immunity passport. So
An immunity passport.
in other words, if you've had a natural infection and you can demonstrate that you have IgG levels in your blood that are
Yeah, this asshole's worried about the medical literacy or whatever of being able to figure out like that. Well, I've already had it. Okay, so what's your IG levels? Jesus fucking Christ, dude. You're complaining about the fact that they want to give a card that says, yeah, I got vaccinated on this date from this batch. And you're like, yeah, do you have the card? Yeah, they gave it to me. It's got a sticker on it. It's signed and stamped. Really? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you're not immune to the variants if you just had it. Stupid. This dude's just trying to get people killed.
are protective, or if you've been vaccinated, you should get this thing, whatever this thing is going to be.
Yeah, whatever the thing is that we're against getting, but you should get it.
Right? I don't agree with this thing ever coming
But I don't agree with it, but you should have it.
into existence. But if it's going to come into existence, it should not be a vaccine passport. It should be an immunity passport. So,
Well, it's not an immunity passport because just having it doesn't protect you from the variants, dickhead. But, you know, a doctor would know that.
if
By the way, a former surgeon, just in case you thought, you know, epidemiologist or currently working as...
Of course.
if my brother-in-law or my sister ended up getting COVID, and I can show you that they have 85 to 90 times the level of antibody off baseline, they're immune. Why are we forcing these people to get vaccinated on top of it?
Well, this
Trump had it. Trump got vaccinated. It's not going to affect you negatively. It will protect you against the variants. That's exactly why.
is a larger question, which is why the focus on the vaccine and vaccination?
Yeah, right. Why can't we talk about just like being macho?
Focus, I imagined, of public health would be public health.
Oh, God.
But instead, the vaccine, getting the
Thanks, Robin.
vaccine, appears to be an end in itself. And I'm not alleging any kind of
Yes, you are. If you're alleging that just getting an injection is the end, they don't give a shit whether or not it protects you from anything. They just want to get a needle in your arm. Of course you're alleging something, you dickhead. Of course this is like whispering and dog whistling about friggin' nanobots. Ugh. Bangino. Oh, he's very upset.
malintent or conspiracy, but it's
Yes, you are. There is no other variance in this. If the government only wants to put a needle in your arm and they don't care about the reason for doing so for your health, then of course there has to be another reason. Even if it's just giving you a fake placebo, which would give you the illusion that you're immune so that you go die.
very striking, and it makes me nervous.
Well, that's because you're weak.